the worldwide interweb or worldwide internet or whatever you want to call it. But wherever you are, political races are starting to kick up even in your community. And I want to encourage people, this is a time now to make sure you've got your house in order for voting, for registration. One of the places I think we oftentimes lose a lot of votes is with our kids who are away in college. Go ahead right now and decide, are your kids going to vote when the election comes back around this summer? Are they going to vote by mail? Are they going to come home and vote? Are they going to vote absentee? Whatever process you're going to use, think about it, because a lot of our students are really being disenfranchised because they're away from their primary residences. And, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of shenanigans going on with elections and who gets to participate, who doesn't. And then the worst of all is confidence in our electoral process. That's the thing that's under attack. A lot of the players that you see now coming forward, they're not really specific about who's being elected, who's not. What they're pushing is this agenda to just make you not have confidence in the election system. And that opens the door now for someone else to play fast and footloose with what comes next. So I want to encourage everybody right now, while there's no pressure to pick a candidate, to pick someone to vote for or whatnot, this is a great time to get your election situation taken, particularly for young folks, about getting elected. The other thing I want to encourage people to do is also tune into your local government, wherever you are. We're in a time right now, again, it seems like things are kind of quiet on a local level. This is a great time to check and see, well, who's my state representative? Who is my senator? And guess what? What if I had to actually call my senator and get something done? How would I go about doing that? And I'll give you a great example. Recently, this week, as you all know, I'm a lawyer. I received a phone call from somebody at my office, and they were calling about an eviction situation. And the eviction situation was, DJ Bezel, the person had signed up for some program that was going to pay their rent. But the payment went to the wrong person because the landlord sold the property and the payment went to the old landlord, and the new landlord was like, hey, I didn't get paid. I want my money. I can't blame the man. So I said, well, ma'am, let's go political. And we hunted down her congressperson, who then hunted down somebody in the local government who was then willing to issue a letter to the new landlord guaranteeing them that once we get the money back from the old landlord, you're going to get it. But this was a completely political solution to a legal situation because this lady was going to be evicted. Now, if I didn't understand a little bit about politics, I would have just done the legal thing. I would have took a legal fight and made that about her eviction. But I understood if we can get the right person on the phone politically, they can bring the pressure to get this issue solved. It looks like we got a call. Let's get this caller on the line, DJ Bezel. Let's see what's going on. Good morning, caller. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. You're live on In Touch News Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is yours truly.
Hey man, y'all won't believe what I had to do, man. Listen, I got DJ C in the studio. I got Pete on the phone. I had to go out on the streets in the middle of the night, go from club to club, walking the strip until I found Sweet Pete holding court. Out there giving out knowledge and laying it on the line.
Did you find him at the bus stop?
He was on 7th Avenue sitting on the corner. Pete, where you been, man? How you doing?
Well, people, I tell people all the time, including last night, some of the best education you can get is being among the people.
Yes.
Whether you're riding a bus, a trolley,
yeah.
Checking out a young mother, whether she have is her battery working or not, they may not have AAA, you use yours. I mean, seriously. And I told somebody last night that the In Touch staff, the radio personalities, and even the CEO and all, the number of community volunteer hours that we do, not to look fancy, but to to try to make a difference. And when you do a lot of community service hours, it keeps us humble. You know that, right?
Oh, listen, Pete. The first Juneteenth program I ever went to was put together by Daryl and Tammy Johnson. And I don't know how many years ago. How long? So Intex News been around 20 years, I think. It had to be 30 years ago.
93.
30 years ago. So when you talk about what they've done in this community, what they do in general, that's great though, Pete. But so anyway, Pete, catch me up, man. How you been doing? I know you've been sitting at home watching your Republican friends take over up in Washington and kind of settle into the big seat. See if they can wear out.
We're in a mess.
Yeah?
We're in a mess in Florida, locally with local elections coming up, educational issues, this fake stuff on critical race theories. I haven't figured out what that is yet. But anyway, there are some things, when you look at the scene in Washington now, those guys are, they're made for television productions. And I give you a good example. After they went through all of the big budget thing where they got new infrastructure and all of that, the new Congress comes in. You got McCarthy, who's he represents. He's a puppet for the extreme right wingers. I mean, all Democrats are not liberal or believe in equality like people think because of the label. And all Republicans are not extreme racists too, but some of them are. So when you look at what's been going on since the House came back into session, if you don't think there's a common thread to try to keep this country level, what happens? Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell goes down to Kentucky to celebrate the money that's coming in to fix that bridge, or build a new bridge.
Right.
Now, a lot of people are saying that they shouldn't have did that. But you try telling that to the people that got to go across that bridge to work. The amount of commerce that keeps the mill of America going. If you ever go across that bridge, where I have at least once, I believe, that bridge needed repaired and replacement and all. So, we get caught up into the fake news stuff a lot. And it's obviously that this country's in trouble because of the way from Florida all the way up the line where people are trying to make us go back. But I can tell you, black kids, because of social media now, they're not going to do that. And what we better look out for is that we have a group of extremists on the right side that are trying to use an organization of Teens Turning Point USA. That is a front for the youth Nazi movement. And I want to alert black and white and Hispanic parents to monitor your kids' activities, particularly white parents, with this Turning Point USA teen thing. It is a front for extreme racism. And a lot of people, as I said before, are still trying to make us have a war. And so that's one of the things. And then, of course, Biden and Trump with the papers. I wouldn't be surprised if they found out Clinton took papers on it.
Hold on, wait, hold on, wait, you're getting ahead of me. Let's not throw it all out there in one motion. Let's parse up. So you're talking about the papers first situation, the classified and top secret documents Donald Trump had, and now they found some documents over at Joe Biden's. Let's assume that. What's the implication you think politically of them finding the documents and now there being an investigation?
It depends on who can get out more of their base vote.
So you think this really is about getting the vote out?
Right, because I looked at a white lady that they interviewed, I believe it was on Fox News, it was on NBC at one of them, that talked about that would really make a difference between the two. And what she was speaking about is that classified papers is classified papers, whether you got 1, 10, or hundreds. So when you look at it from that standpoint, obviously they both violated in my mind the spirit of the law. And whether it comes to a criminal indictment, I doubt it. But I believe all of the presidents, the last going back to Nixon on the way up, I wouldn't be surprised if Obama might have took a classified paper home and forgot about it.
Well, Pete, hold that thought for a minute, Pete. We're gonna take this quick break. We're gonna come back on the other side and go. Well, we're gonna go walk through that a little bit about what these documents mean, how Biden is handling it, the investigation, and then politically how it impacts next year's cycle of elections. So we're going to take this quick break here. Well, I don't want to comment on it. It's a sensitive subject. This is In-Text News Radio, reality radio. We'll be right back after this quick break.
And no, we don't have to know nothing.
Don't respond to that, Pete. Don't respond to that.
I won't.
St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater, and all surrounding areas. Before I let you, here come Miami's own Chico the Leon Grown Folks Night Out.
Take that mess from off the wall.
Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory. Strictly for the grown, put on your best, dress to impress, plus performing live.
Only you can make me happy.
Yes, it's Surface Live and in concert. Chico the Leo Grown Folks Night Out comes to St. Petersburg Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory, 3601 38th Avenue South, along with Surface.
Closer than just.
Get your tickets now. Tickets $15 in advance. For more info, call 786-486-4366 or 727-768-4543 or go to grownfolksmiami.com and I'll see you there.
When you're close to me, I get a warm sense.
Nestled in the heart of West Tampa, the Maduro Marauder Cigar Lounge offers a wide variety of premium cigars from Esteli, Nicaragua. In addition, the lounge offers a relaxed environment for you to come back, lay, chill, and relax and smoke a great cigar. Visit us at our brick and mortar location, 1944 West Main Street, Tampa, as well as online, www.maduromarauders.com.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Back live on In-Text News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. And I got my main man, Sweet Pete Edwards, on the phone. You know, I was out last night. You know so we're located in Tampa, Florida. And I was out with the Kappas at our usual spot for happy hour. You know, about 25, 30 brothers had taken over the spot, and it was. Well, I felt bad. You know, DJ CO in the corner back there. I saw a couple Omegas. You know, and I know what they were thinking, man. I ain't even say it. You know what they were thinking? I should have played this guy. I know they were saying it. They wasn't about to say it out loud. But I was sitting there with the brothers, man, and the roar went up in the room, and I looked out the window to see what it was. Brothers were yelling at Pete walking by, man. Pete was walking the strip, man. So I went out and chalked with him, man, and caught up with Pete for a change. Pete, you didn't stay out too late last night, did you?
No, man, I was home by 9 o'clock.
No, you couldn't have been home by 9 o'clock, man. I saw you at I didn't leave till about 8:45. You couldn't have been home at 9 o'clock.
Well, I time you left, I left right behind you, brother.
All right, okay, you say so, man. But it was good seeing y'all. So, Pete, so I think that there are multiple pieces to the documents. One part of the document issue is the hypocrisy of the Republican response. Well, let me back up. I shouldn't say that. The first part of the documents is the difference in how Trump and Biden responded to I have documents. Trump's response was,
But that's the politics of it.
well, Trump's response was, what documents y'all talking about? The next response was, well, I don't have any documents. The next response was, well, give me some time. Biden's response was, hey, they're in my garage out there with my Corvette. He wanted to let everybody know he's a General Motors man. He's out with my Corvette, so they're safe. But he turned them over. He self-reported, voluntarily taking the high ground. So from an ethical standpoint, they're both situated differently. And one of the issues about liability is your acceptance of kind of how you handle it. When things happen. Bezel's itching here. Go ahead, Bezel.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When's the last time you think he drove that Corvette?
Oh no, that car's not for driving.
Oh, it's not for driving?
No.
It's just staying in there?
It's for telling people I own it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of guys those guys have cars like that, man. What are you talking about, man? Drive the car? No, he don't drive. That car's for telling people he's got a car. That's why he told you that. I didn't have to know that he had all he had to say is in my garage. No. It's in my garage with my Corvette.
Well, I was wondering if he's driving the car.
No, man. Is he
driving around important documents, or is it just staying in his garage?
I am very comfortable with Joe Biden running the country. I am not comfortable with him out driving. I don't want him on the road, man. The kids out there.
I got you.
So, Pete, that's the first thing.
The thing, Clint.
Yeah.
But nobody ethically, the main voters that consistently vote, they don't think about ethics anymore. So that part of it is a wash. And remember, you got to look at the voters. I can tell you, poor people, but particularly black and Hispanic people, they don't care one way or the other on the classified document. The average person. It's not even on their radar of discussions. It's not. So that's a battle between media and the extreme base of the party. But there's one distinct difference. The base of Trump, they operate 24/7. The true Democratic base, the true base of the Democratic Party, consistently, the black voters, they operate when it's a flashpoint. The documents, classified documents, is not a flashpoint among black Democratic voters. You follow me now?
Yeah, I do follow you, but I think that I'm gonna put it into context, and this is historical. When Hillary and Bill Clinton got elected, and somebody brought up the idea that Hillary was involved in a really crappy investment deal that I think some people got burned because of Whitewater, and the response was from the Democrats was, nobody cares about that. And then here's what happened, DJ Bezel. In the process of investigating Whitewater, they found Monica Lewinsky. And all of a sudden, everything changed. The process here, Pete, I see is the Republicans are just looking for something to look for. That's why they're digging around with Hunter Biden.
They're looking for that smoking gun.
Because there is. It's just a matter they're going to find it.
Yep.
Right? So that's the one thing. So let's move to the second part of this now is the investigation. The DOJ has appointed a special prosecutor to look into this and come up with whether or not there has been a crime. Now, let me say this before I go any further, Pete. You cannot charge a sitting president with a crime. Cannot.
That's true.
So, what does it matter what the DOJ, what he comes out and says? Because he can't charge him. So it's almost irrelevant to get, the key is, are we going to secure the documents? But what they're going to look for, are there other people, though, that you can go after? Are there other people? And so that's really what I think is what they're looking for. We can't maybe not hang Biden. But I think what's come out, he has an executive assistant or somebody that helped pack up records and whatnot that work for him. They're thinking that person may have been involved. But you don't think long-term politically it's an issue on the Democratic side it is a rally item for the Republican side. Am I getting that right, Pete?
But you're right, but it won't matter because neither one of those two guys will be the candidate for the 2024 election.
Now, Pete, you always go too. You just go too far.
No, I'm just saying.
All right, so I'm gonna fall.
Trump is out.
All right, I'm gonna fall for.
Out.
I'm gonna fall for it. Tell me why Biden is out.
Well, first of all, the repercussions from Hunter Biden and all of that, but the main reason why they both out, they're too old. And what we have now, whether you're on the extreme left, well, particularly on the right and extreme right, you have a swelling of people wanting younger people, younger different ideas to handle that right-wing point of view and all. On the Democratic side, you have people who, even within the black voters, not going to vote for Biden because I told you in Bezel a long time ago that Voting Right Act or whatever, those adjustments, way before John Lewis died, I told y'all that it was fake. And it's proven to be fake. Okay?
All right, hold on. So
now,
how do we get how does Joe Biden end up out of the, and I really shouldn't be talking to you about Democratic strategy, but I'm going to go do it anyway.
But
how does Joe Biden, but that doesn't, he's not going to run, he's going to get sick, they're going to tell him to get out. How does he not run?
Now, in the thinking process, some countries you can have older leaders. In America, the whole dynamic looks of the way people look at politics now. They don't, whether it's the Senate, the House, the whole bit, they want people to be younger to represent a good, well-crossed section of where we're going as a country. The old guard, they're all the same. They come to Congress or whatever to get tips for making money in the stock market, the whole bit.
Yeah.
They get settled and all, and then they don't want to move or relate. Even if you look at the black congressional caucus, you look at a lot of those folks are way too old to still be in office because they antiquated in their ideas. Now, don't get me wrong. A lady like Maxine Waters, appreciate it, respect it, highly notice she never left the finance committee, whatever that thing she handles with. But they're out of touch with the changing time. And when you look at them, all of them, who are they grooming to take their place? And particularly on the Democratic side, you don't have. I'm not going
to let you do it. I'm not going to let you sit here as a Republican and just plow through the Democrats. We just had an amazing a peaceful transition of power. Nancy Pelosi to Hakeem Jeffries.
Was it really peaceful?
Listen, I said it's peaceful, Pete. There was nothing crazy in the streets. Nothing went down. Nobody's stomping up. It compared to what happened on the Republican side, it's a peaceful transition of power. But let me back up a notch. How does Joe Biden? You didn't say. I know you don't think he should. He won't. But does he decide I'm not going to run? Does he? What happens to get him out? And then who's on the bench really? Who's on the bench really to step in? Who's really on the bench to step in though in his place? There's nothing more powerful in an election than an incumbent who can say, I'm here currently now doing the job. I know how to do the job. Y'all know me. I may not be perfect, but we can work on those couple of things. This guy you want to bring in or this gal, you don't know if she can do the job or not. And so you don't want to shuffle that. So it's hard for an incumbent not to run for office. You know what, Pete, I'm going to do this. I want you to hold on that. Think about what is it, how we get Biden out of the race. Not that he needs to get out of the race. And then I want to explain, well, if it's not going to be Trump, who is it going to be on the Republican side? We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Pete Stradamus is going to tell us about the 2024 election. You're listening to Intex News Radio. Reality radio where everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick message.
Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star, man. You know, Pete, it's kind of interesting, man. We, in the studio, I've been watching my man DJ Bezel. He's the engineer behind the desk running the boards, man. The dude is a full-fledged. He's got to be bumped up from producer to executive producer. He's got his hand signals down. He's got his cameras going. He really runs a tight ship in here, Pete, and I'm just impressed, man. He keeps everything moving, man. Even controlling my eyes with his fingers, man. So I just want to give him a shout out, man, for all those people out there listening. Look, I do the easy part. The tough part's on the other side.
Thank you,
yeah, man. Yeah, I'll sign that letter for you too, man. I'm gonna double what I've been paying you, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm a
good way to look at that.
I'm gonna double what I've been giving him.
well, maybe if you do that, we can finally get the barbecue.
Get the barbecue in here. Get the ribs in here, man. Anyway, so yeah, I got Pete Edwards on the phone, and Pete, I know you lived a life of being in the trenches and knowledgeable about so many things. So I really appreciate your insight on stuff. And one of the best things I love is when listening to people that disagree with me. And while I may sometimes come off like I'm not paying it much attention, I enjoy hearing other people that disagree with me more than I hear people that do agree with me. And so we were just talking before the break. You were saying how neither Biden nor Trump been there. Real quick, in 30 seconds, how does Joe Biden end up not being the candidate in 2024?
He'll get a spiritual awakening. Listen, the poor people that won't be around and couldn't win a presidential election in 2024 are the following: Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and Ron DeSantis. Neither of the four will be a president in 2024.
Now talk about Trump a little bit, and I'm going to leave Biden where he's at. So, how does the base not vote for Trump again? That they're still with him.
Well, they won't vote. They may be with him, but he will maneuver to the point where he would be. You ever heard those old saying, "Do you prefer to be the king or the king's maker?" Well, he's been the king. So at this stage, with everything going around and outside, since he's been out as president now, he's maneuvering to be the king's maker. Now, he probably would have put DeSantis in the position to be president, but DeSantis backstabbing, so that's back in hand. Kamala Harris would never be a presidential candidate. She may run, but she would never win. I suggest to you that independent women, the few blacks, but particularly independent white women, they will never vote for her for president.
Yeah, I think she's got a tough, but you know, a lot of candidates struggle the first time they run. They get it figured out. They come back. You know, particularly on the Republican side, you see that a lot more than on the Democratic side. But be that as it may, I think if Trump loses, he's going to play spoiler to the Republican Party. He's not going to come around and be on board and admit he lost and then I'm supporting this new guy. He's going to spoil and say, I think the road for Donald Trump to win is watching the Republicans tear at themselves like we saw them do when they took over Congress, House of Representatives, that they're gonna battle with each other, and as an end result, be in a weak place where they can't rally their momentum to win a national election. What are your thoughts on that?
That's probably true, but I tell you, I really believe that the two candidates for president, particularly from the Republican side, is going to be a woman at the top.
Give me a name. Throw me a name.
And
throw me a name.
It won't be Nikki Haley. It's probably going to be Christy Noah from up there in the Midwest.
Let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this in a response to that. Who? I mean,
that's why you said like that earlier, because for those of us who don't pay attention to it, I think at the best Tim Scott may be a vice president candidate.
Yes.
But when you look at balancing the ticket out, and if he is the vice president candidate, you will not find a percentage of black voters voting for him because he's black. That won't happen either.
Well, I don't think that some of these black Republicans you see. What's the other young guy that just is up it just went to Congress? The black guy. They threw his name in for speaker as well.
Oh, Byron Donald.
Byron Donald.
The guy from Naples.
Yeah. We know though. Those guys are to make white people feel like they're not as racist and oppressive as they are. They're to make white folks feel good. I think that's what you have.
They can make them more money. It makes them more money like that.
Yeah, but to make them feel not guilty. No, listen. When your white friend says to you, I have black friends, or somebody says, well, I have black friends, they're trying to make themselves feel good about their racist tendencies and oppressive thought processes, which, you know, it is what it is. We work with this though, but I just think that when it comes around the 2024 election, Joe Biden runs. The Democrats, we don't break rank. We're going to nominate him. Republicans are going to tear at each other, and we're going to stumble into an election where Joe Biden basically in America says, well, he hadn't done that bad a job. We may not be that enthused about him, but we don't know what the hell is going on over here. We're going to keep this guy. And the next cycle in 2028, you get then DeSantis coming back and probably
you got two viable candidates. You got two viable candidates from the Republican side. The lady, Noel Kim, and Ted Cruz.
Who?
There you go.
Cruz done lost. Nobody likes you, Cruz. P.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
The only president.
DJ, you remember I said that, DJ, because I was right before. It will be Ted Cruz or Noel Kim as the number one candidate for president after everything shakes out for the
I'm gonna tell you why it won't be Ted Cruz. People think he's a wimp. He let a man talk about his wife, talk about his family, and then he sucked up to him. And when the heat went out, and it was cold in Texas, he packed up his family and flew to Mexico.
I'm gone.
So I don't think people won't forget that. That shows I'm like, see, here's what people. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what they like about Donald Trump. Donald Trump gets up in there, he gets his hands up, and he throws haymakers and elbows, and he doesn't apologize for it. He's just banging away, and it's like he does it almost like Mike Tyson used to do, without any concern for the consequences. But what he wants, people are drawn to that, you know. And so I'm gonna let that be. I need you to explain something else to the people's, because they come to this show to find out information. That's why people listen to us and you. Somebody has got to explain from the Republican side, George Santos.
Ooh.
Somebody's got to explain that. First, you got to explain, why does he even exist in the Republican Party? That's the first. How does he even exist in the Republican Party, right? The second thing is, how does the Republican Party then help him get elected? You know, the photos are coming of him dressed like a drag queen. I don't know if y'all seen those.
No.
Yeah, I saw those. Ugly.
Dressed up.
I did not. Wow.
Dressed up as a drag queen. Right? He's over there conferencing Republicans. They literally said almost every fact that he's ever stated about his life is a lie. His parents' heritage is a lie. They're not Jewish, they're Jew-ish. I guess they eat whatever the food that Jewish people eat. You know what that is.
The base don't care about that. They don't care about the extreme right of the Republican Party is not interested in ethics. When y'all gonna get that through your head?
We're deeper than ethics now, Pete. We're now into judgment, because I agree with you all of that. But just imagine whatever mental process he uses to do all these other things will be used to decide votes on bills and things of that nature. I mean, the magnitude of what he has presented.
I thought they had like standards or qualifications and stuff like that.
Huh?
Standards, no standards,
huh?
no qualifications.
Who?
Republicans, Democrats.
They used
Congress.
to, and that's a key component of it.
It doesn't matter.
He should have been better when he put his name in the hat. The local Republican Party should have vetted him. But that means we do a background check.
Well, they did. They did better him. They betted him on one. They betted him on two main things, three main things. One, that he can shift. He can take a vote from the Liberal Democratic Party. Number one. Number two, that he can hang with. And you know, they just discovered that he was hanging with some extreme right-wing political group.
Oh yeah.
And that he can keep. See, the immigration issue is about color. Don't ever forget that. The real thing behind the immigration issue is the skin pigmentation and how light or dark it is for the majority of immigrants coming to the country. When you see extreme protest.
What about the fallout to the Republicans? Don't you think any Republican stepping forward? Let me say this. My first thought now, more so, I used to think about that a little when Trump showed up. But when any of these guys now step out, now I don't already know who you are, don't you think in general people will be very suspicious of your background? Well, can I believe, because there are a lot of people that are going to go down who supported this guy, that put their people that vested their careers in helping him to get elected. People want to look, Pete, when you see a politician, underneath that politician is just a pyramid of supporters who put their livelihood, their businesses, their reputations, their hard work into getting that candidate where he is, because when he wins, we all win. By him doing this, though, he's exposed all of these people who went to their friends and said, hey, I need you to give me a check for $500 for this guy. I need you to let us host an event at your business for this guy. That's what I'm saying, though. For me, I think he exposed a lot. And so what's the fallout? I think the implication that the Republican Party has no morals, has no values. And that was suspected after the Billy Bush interview with Donald Trump. We didn't know for sure, but we suspected. The only way this guy can go forward is all the people supporting him, all you folks, you don't have any moral values. Mm-hmm. And we weren't sure about it.
But that doesn't count as much as controlling power. Nobody thinks of morality anymore in politics. So we just forget about that on either whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent. Morality don't mean nothing. And when you talk about the faith, I would say to you that even when he runs again for re-election in 2024, that he will be at a close race and may win it. You know why? Because he can bring out his base supporters, and the thing of the extreme right base supporters is keep everybody in line and behind the
let me say this,
bus.
That's it. Okay, Pete. I normally don't make predictions, but I'm gonna go clinch Stradamus. It's gonna go on the record. First, he won't finish his term. He's out. He's just too much. It's too. This guy. We just got this. Just tip of the iceberg. We just tipped. We just tipped out. We haven't got to the real dirt he's done yet. We just starting to dig into this guy's history and life as a everything about. So that's one. The second one is he's out of a Democratic district. He was an anomaly. He just had such a bad opponent in the race that just people were just fed up with some of the, the lack of reality being presented for his in his district. So I don't think and that's why the Republicans don't want him to resign. Because if he resigns, more likely they're going to have a special election.
He don't plan on resigning, though, and they don't want to get rid of him.
Well, he may have to resign.
It don't matter.
These are some ugly
Before
pictures. These ugly pictures, Pete. The pictures are pretty ugly.
They could be ugly, but they're not going to...
he butt ugly, man.
Well, you know what?
He butt ugly, man. On GP, he got a general principle for being such an ugly drag queen. He got to resign on
Before I go, before I get out of here, remember what I told you. The base voters count. In the Democratic Party, the main base voters are black people, and we're not consistent, so it doesn't matter. And if he ran tomorrow, he would get reelected.
Wow. All right.
So I get with you guys next week.
Okay.
I get with you guys next week. I'll remind the CEO or whatever title he's going by this morning that the donuts are overdue and the barbecue is overdue, and where we're gonna celebrate Valentine's Day.
Well, I will tell you right now, Pete, I won't be celebrating with you, but I do have some plans. I'll let you know, Pete. But other than that, you know where to find me on Fridays. Come on by.
That's why I brought it up. All right,
hey, Pete, before you go, if you come in next week, I'll go ahead and get them donuts on that big raise that Clint just gave me.
Wow, yeah. You gonna spend it like that?
I'm gonna spend all that money on them donuts.
Well, we're spending a raise. I don't know if we talk about money, are we? Anyway, listen, Pete, want to appreciate you for being here, man, and seeing you, man, the other day. We're gonna take this last break. And when we come back, I got a couple things I want to run through. Let me remind everybody, this is a call-in show, so the lines are open. Call in 813-444-9588. If you got the time, jump on there and tell us what you think about what's happening in the world of politics. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Well, I'm glad.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater, and all surrounding areas. Before I let you, here come Miami's own Chico the Leo Crow Folks Night Out.
Take that mess from off the wall.
Saturday Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory. Strictly for the grown. Put on your best dress to impress. Plus performing live.
Only you can make me happy.
Yes, it's Surface live and in concert. Chico de Leo, Grown Folks Night Out comes to St. Petersburg, Saturday night, January 28th, inside the National Guard Armory, 3601 38th Avenue South, along with Surface.
Closer than just.
Get your tickets now. Tickets $15 in advance. For more info, call 786-486-4366 or 727-768-4543 or go to grownfolksmiami.com and I'll see you there.
When you're close to me, I get all warm.
In Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
All right, we're back live on In-Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. Listen, you just was listening to my man Pete Edwards on the line. I mean, during the break, man, we pulled up the photo of George Santos, man, in his outfit. It's that's a rough picture there, man. That's rough stuff, man. But I think, man, you know, collectively, the Republicans have a lot of soul searching that needs to be done. They really got to get back to some. I mean, because we need to make the Democrats good. You know, you need the Republicans to be strong, because if not, then you lose some footing, because you're not having something in this iron sharpens iron. You need something that they can to push against, so that as a country, we're driving getting the best out of everybody. And right now, we're in a situation where that's not happening. Because, you know, Democrats are able to, you know, point the finger and just laugh at some of the stuff that's coming out of Republicans. Hopefully we're not laughing too much, because they're moving along and they're dangerous. Some of this, and the word was used, Pete used the word extremist. I don't think it's extremist anymore. I think it's a mainstream thought process within the Republican Party that's taking root. And then some people want to make it out like this happened yesterday. There were threats about this going back all the way to the Civil Rights Movement, which was pushing Republicans to no longer embrace ideals about equity and fairness, things of that nature. We got a caller on the phone, calling in. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Carl calling. I gotta chime in on what
You got to chime in on what?
Oh, what people saying. That's I mean, Joe Biden not running. I mean, at this point, it should make a difference. I mean, he has the country going in the right direction. He has great momentum. I mean, he's so why he wouldn't? He's been incompetent. He's going to be hard to beat.
Right. And for the record, you're a diehard, long-time Biden guy, right? Just want to make sure.
Yes, I am.
All right. Good.
I mean, but like I said, I don't think he should be driving this Corvette, though.
Oh, the man can't drive his Corvette. The man, you say you think he's too old? He shouldn't be out on the road anymore.
Well, right. I mean, he's just, you know, he shouldn't be out there driving. He's 87 years old. That's a muscle car, you know. You don't want him to oversteer or overpower. That thing slips over, you know, and hit one of the light poles.
You think? How long you think it's been since Joe really drove a car? I mean, they should show George Bush like driving around his ranch in the truck, but he was like in an empty field, like there was nobody around. He's like drive around the fence, you know. But I don't think he's on. But I'm with you though. You don't think Joe's going to just drop being president because somebody else said they think he's too old.
No, right. A president, I mean, he has the country going in the right direction. The only thing he has to sit back and just let it cruise on through.
Well, I mean, but he's got there are a lot of things out there that are pressing right now. We've got this new Republican Congress that's looking for a fight. I mean, they're really looking to find something. I mean, they're digging on these documents. Somebody said, you know, are y'all concerned at all about the visitor law to Mar-a-Lago that Donald Trump's documents. No, we're not worried about those. But somebody needs to know who was in that garage. We need to know who was in that where those documents were. I think that hypocrisy is just not going to sit well with people. I mean, you can only go so far, and I'll give you a good example. I like history. During the Monica Lewinsky scandal, the Democrats would only go so far with Bill Clinton before they said, hey, listen, hey, look, bro, we can't support this. Mm-hmm. You need to shut this down. When it became clear Bill did it, or she was doing it with Bill, it's two adults and consensual. But once it became clear he had been lying about it, the Democrats went to him and said, look, this is beyond what our values are. You need to shut this down. And I think that's what the struggle I see with Republicans and George Santos represents. You have no boundary, right? What are your thoughts about? What are your thoughts, Carl, about George Santos? And I don't know if you're aware, familiar with it, just in case. He's the new allegedly cross-dressing congressman that's out of New York. What should the Republicans do about it?
Probably nothing. That's it. Look what they're going to be changed. Look with Herschel Walker. Look with Martin Taylor Greene. Look with Matt Gaetz. You got keep on going. I mean, you got some scandals all through that thing, man. So this is nothing different. It's just what they're going to change because they don't have the ability. They don't lost the ability to govern, to write policies, to be a really meaningful party. So this is a way, and it beats disarray and all this stuff. Beat some of the base.
Listen, you know what? I don't spend a lot of time at truck stops talking to truckers, but you must be one of the most articulate truckers you gotta be. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening. I'm like, and kudos for you and your profession and what y'all do out there. But Carl, you really, point some things out and explain some things that we appreciate on the show. Anything else you want to share with the peoples before we let you go?
Well, I'm gonna be in that part of the North. I'm gonna chill up here. But I just want okay, yeah. Now, nowadays, if you want to you want to know who your senators, for your local politicians are, they have a thing you call the 5 Calls app.
What's it called again?
It's called the 5 Falls app.
5 Falls or 5 Calls? 5 Falls?
Calls, Calls, yeah, CALLS.
Okay.
Okay, and that would give you your senator, your mayor, your local politician.
Now, how do you know about this app, Carl?
Well, this was advertised some years ago. Listened to another show, another show, and then it was advertised, and it's and I have it myself.
Got it. Outstanding, though. Well, all right, man. Hey, you be safe out there on the road and keep the deliveries coming and going up and down the highway, man. Oh, there you go. That's like a beat. That's like a beat, a little Volkswagen. Hey, man. Thanks a lot, Carl. Appreciate you, man. Hang in there, bro. All right, so that was Carl the trucker calling in, man, trying to take it. I'm cautious about letting callers go out to Pete like that when the man can't defend himself, But he was right, so I had to let him go. So he's right, man. Pete just wrong on this. Joe Biden will be running in 2024. Donald Trump also will be the nominee in 2024 because the Republican base is what he's going to... If we can get 5 or 6 people into the race, Donald Trump's your nominee. If it's only 1 or 2, then he won't be. Because the non-Trump voters will support Donald Trump, but he'll gather them up.
It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, as it always is. But I tell you what is going to be also interesting today is what you get out and do wherever you're located across this wonderful and great country. The weather is holding up in our area, but wherever you are, let's get out and do something. I know we're kind of everybody want to catch their breath after MLK Day and all the wonderful, exciting things that we all got out and did, and commemorating the legacy that he's left behind and the fight for equity and fairness across the country and justice. But get out, do something. Enlighten yourself. Make this day matter so that tomorrow, when you look back on it, you won't feel like it was a waste. And I think, ultimately, you'll feel better for it. This is In Touch News Radio, Reality Radio. I am your co-host, Clint Paris. Hey, Have a great time. And look, God willing, I'll be back here next week.